TikTok. The clock is ticking on that one. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announcing President Trump will take action in the coming days, as he says, on the popular video sharing app TikTok and other Chinese apps as well.
Here's what I hope that the American people will come to recognize. These Chinese software companies doing business in the United States, whether it's TikTok or WeChat, there are countless more, as Peter Navarro said, are feeding data directly to the Chinese Communist Party, their national security apparatus. Could be their facial recognition pattern. It could be information about their residents, their phone numbers, their friends. These are true national security issues. President Trump has said enough, and we're going to fix it. And so he will take action in the coming days with respect to a broad array of national security risks that are presented by software connected to the Chinese Communist Party.
So what are the real-world implications of China's data mining of Americans? We'll ask Colonel Scott Caine, Republican Florida congressional candidate, foreign policy expert, and retired United States Air Force. Colonel, good to see you. As you know, TikTok has 800 million users. This is worldwide. But new reporting shows that the app is delivering data directly to China. How big of a threat is this thing?
Well, John, the threat is pretty substantial because of several factors. One is it goes back to the Chinese 2017 National Intelligence Law that essentially says any organization or person is responsible to do intel work for the Chinese government if asked. So we can expect that any company that is based in China is, if the Chinese Communist Party says we want certain information on certain types of people or certain groups of people, then they have to turn that information over. So just the fact that they have laws that require that if asked is a threat to our way of life and our people. But the fact that TikTok is one of those very cool apps that looks like it's just a lot of fun and not a big deal, but it also hides the fact that they have algorithms to find information on people, that makes it a big threat to our way of life.
Oh, it's a beautiful way of marketing. I mean, there's a giant billboard on Times Square that says TikTok. I mean, you can't get away from it. They've done a brilliant job. Microsoft, talk to me about that. They have to strike a deal sometime mid-September. Does this give a little bit of security to Americans if this happens and they continue to use TikTok? It's back on American soil. Does that help this whole process?
Well, I believe so. I think that's the key is it controlled inside of an American institution. So, you know, one of the things that Americans are used to is their freedoms being protected. So as we hearken back to some of the cases where Apple was unwilling to open up their phones to the FBI and other resources for the federal government, that should secure people's minds that if you bring it back to the United States, then our laws are going to be in play, not the Chinese laws, which are completely different. The Chinese laws are all about the state having control and having taken away your freedom to do things, whereas the U.S. laws are built so that the state doesn't have the ability to do that. You inherently have those freedoms. So I believe that bringing it to the United States under Microsoft control should ensure to a large degree that happens for America.
I want to show this, too, because this is why we would do this segment. Americans' opinions on China continue to get worse. A recent Pew Research poll showing this: 73% of U.S. adults say they have an unfavorable view on China. If you compare it to 2018, that's up more than 25%. But Senator Dianne Feinstein, she had interesting remarks. She may not be in that 70%. Listen to this.
We hold China as a potential trading partner, as a country that has pulled tens of millions of people out of poverty in a short period of time, and as a country growing into a respectable nation.
Growing into a respectable nation, talking about China. She went on to caution against holding the country accountable for the coronavirus pandemic. What are your thoughts?
Well, the words she said, they hold some truth. However, you always have to go back to what the foundational or underlying principles in play are. So has the Chinese government pulled tens of millions of people out of poverty? The answer to that is yes. Of course, their entire country was in poverty, and they had 1 billion plus people when that was the case. So what they have done is certainly increase the economic opportunity in their country. The question is, how do they do it, and does the ends justify the means? So in China, as an unfree country with the rights given to the people from the government, with censorship, with human rights violations, with the ability to tell everybody what to do, their country, is that something we want to embrace as a country ourselves? Certainly not, in my opinion. We should hold them accountable for those actions. We certainly can be a trading partner with them, but once and for all, we need to hold them accountable for what they've done in the past and what they're continuing to do around the world while we do it.
That is Colonel Scott Caine. A pleasure. I appreciate you taking the time. Thanks so much. Thank you for your service, sir.